Hi everybody, welcome to our first Regency webinar of 2017. Today we're going to be going over a digital marketing overview. So we wanted to do this webinar for a couple of reasons. One was to say hello, and another was to let you guys ask any questions or have your questions answered because we tend to get a lot of the same questions from properties, and we thought that this would be a great way to just kind of set the stage and make sure everybody was on the same page. We also wanted to show our faces. We've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of you, but certainly not everybody. And we know that it's a lot easier when we can get in front of you and talk in person, so hopefully this is at least a step in that direction. And we wanted to get your wheels turning. We wanted to just kind of let you guys know what we're doing day in and day out, either when we're emailing you and working with you guys directly, or what we're doing behind the scenes. So we wanted to kind of get your wheels turning and get those light bulbs going to give you some ideas for what you can do this year and in the years ahead. So first of all, we are ClickRain. We've been working with Regency since about 2009. We have a small office in downtown Sioux Falls of about 35 people. We're in a really cool old building that we've renovated, and we love visitors. So if you're ever, yes. So if you're ever in town, certainly stop by, whether you're just popping in or you want to set up a meeting to talk strategy. We are all about it. We have, like I said, been working with Regency since about 2009, and that relationship just continues to grow as Regency grows, which we love. And then last year especially, we had the opportunity to meet with a lot of properties. And so these are just a couple of photos from our trips, which often revolve around food. So there's a photo of pie in Traverse City. But we love visiting properties. We love seeing you guys in person and getting to know a little bit about your areas. It really helps us market better for you. So this is your ClickRain team. To be perfectly honest, because Regency is such a large account, pretty much everybody at ClickRain has touched this account at one time or another. So this is your primary team, but you can bet that probably all 35 of us have worked on Regency at one point or another. I'm Maddie. I am essentially your account manager and your main contact. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you guys my email at the end of the webinar, and you can shoot me a message if you have any questions, concerns, or you just want to chat.
And I am Kate. I really work hand in hand with Maddie on a lot of the larger strategy efforts, a lot of our analytics, a lot of our paid search, a lot of our email, and really making sure that we are incorporating the trends that we're seeing, and then making sure that what we're doing is really resonating for you guys. And then everyone else just kind of comes in as needed, and we are just kind of the people that you get to deal with a lot of the time. So we're glad you're here today. So we know that travel planning is really dominated by online. It's where we can drive a lot of revenue. It's where we can get a lot of impressions and engagement. So we really love that we get to work so closely with the Regency team and all of the different properties to really make an impact for your hotels. So let's talk digital marketing, because that's really what we love to do. That's really where our focus is with you guys. You've probably heard us mention these three buckets a couple of times, and we really wanted to spend today to really dive into what is all involved within a retainer and what constitutes a project. And when we say media, what are we talking about? So that by the end of this, you're really aware and know what to expect with ClickRain. There is this really long document that most properties should have. If you don't have it, email us and we'll get it to you. And that really kind of dives into the specifics, but that's boring and ugly. So we're talking through this at a higher level today. So when we say retainer, we really mean email marketing. It's consultation. So if you have a question or you want us to jump on a vendor call, we're here. It's doing campaign strategy. It's our paid search and ongoing optimization efforts. It's analytics and reporting. It's social media campaigns and optimization. We talk projects. It's more websites and videos and larger campaign efforts. So that's like peak or winter or Black Friday, where there's a lot of different components kind of going into one main message, and then different content marketing. And then media is all of the hard costs for paid placement. So we have all this great content or great ads, and then the media are those hard dollars that are getting it shown on Facebook or paid search efforts. So it's really just that pass-through cost. So that might have been confusing, but don't worry, we're going to take a deep dive into each of those and really kind of talk through what we do both hand in hand with you and then what happens behind the scenes, so you can kind of get a fuller picture of the ClickRain partnership, and that your face won't be doing this afterwards. It really all does start with strategy. So each fall, we meet with Regency corporate teams, so Erica and Aaron and Glorianne, and really talk through what are the digital trends that we're seeing within the travel industry that we're going to have to make sure we're in front of. What have we been seeing that's really working this year, isn't working, that we needed to update? And then it's also in conjunction with SRP time. So what are you all saying that you want help with or that you are seeing as a need? And how can we really create a strategy that encompasses all of that? So this year, we really created a higher level strategy based on different quarterly initiatives. So first quarter is really focused on peak planning. Second quarter has different messaging around seasonality. We also have content audits and local listings that we're doing. So this kind of just gives an overview of everything that we're looking at a higher level, and you might not see us working hands-on with you. But we want to talk through the details within this retainer strategy and what all of the hours that are going towards. So email marketing, this is a big one and probably something we work with most often with all of you because we see it having results. It's still one of the biggest drivers of revenue because these are our customers. These are people who have said, yes, please message me. These are people who have booked with us previously, so they know the brands, they know what to expect. So it's easier to try to get that engagement from this group. So we want to make sure that we're doing it well. Over the past year, we actually sent over 300 emails across the Regency portfolio, and we don't just send and forget. We've been compiling all of that data, so there's a beautiful, massive spreadsheet. There's a case study on the ClickRain website, and as well as the Regency Management corporate website that really shows us insights on so what's working industry-wide, but then what's specifically working for the Regency portfolio, the Regency hotels. So this is just showing open rate and click-through rate for our Regency emails versus the industry average. Regency open rate is about, I want to get straight, 13% higher than the industry average, but our click-through rate, so not only are people getting the emails, but then they're clicking through to our website to hopefully book and take action. Our click-through rate is 400% higher than the industry average. So we're getting 11% click-through rate, which is amazing compared to the industry average of 2%. So we want to make sure that our emails are effective and driving business for you guys. So our email marketing is really focused on these three components. We'll kind of talk through these, but it's making sure we have segmented and relevant lists. It's making sure our email creative and messaging is on point. And it's making sure that we're implementing all of these send best practices that we've been compiling at and looking at the data. So when we say segmented list, what does that mean? So a lot of the times we get lists, and we are thankful whenever you send an email list that has kind of a compilation of a bunch of different data. So what we do to segment it is see, can we get people that are local versus maybe regional? So we can send maybe a last minute message to people who are really local and could get here within 2 hours versus people who have to be flying in. Can we segment by planners and groups versus the leisure market so that we're sending more relevant messages? And most lists are already built or segmented that way thanks to all of your planning. And then can we get a little bit more nuance? Can we start messaging if you're into winter travel or summer travel or hiking or outdoor recreation, anything that can help us make our messaging a little bit more tailored and a little bit more nuanced. Is just extremely helpful. So when we kind of push back and say, where did this list come from? Do we know any more information? Those are the reasons why, so that we can get a more segmented list. And we don't do it to be a pain. We do it because it works. So this is an example of what we've done with Kotzea Resorts. So we segmented all of their lists by where people were staying or where they had previously stayed. We realized that people have a lot of loyalty to the specific lodge they stayed at versus Kotzea Resorts in general. So if we could send something from Sylvan Lake to people who had stayed at Sylvan Lake, all about Sylvan Lake, that engagement shot through the roof. So you can see our open rate when we send these type of segmented lists is about 87% higher than our normal Kotzea Resorts general sends, as well as the industry average. And then our click-through rate is 160% higher. So again, we're getting people more engaged just by being a little bit more relevant in how we're sending and messaging to them. The other thing is creative. So we want to make sure that we are really showcasing the properties the best way that we can, that we're really inspiring vacation and inspiring travel. So whether it's animated gift, or it's changing up templates a little bit, or it's adding different functionality, we want to do that. But we also want to make sure that we're not changing it all the time. So all of our email templates are responsive. So that means that they look great on a desktop, and then they also look great on our phone, because the majority of our people are actually opening their emails on a phone. So we want to make sure that looks good, and it hinders a little bit the craziness of the design, just to make sure that it's working. So we want to also make sure that what we're sending has a consistent look and feel, so people aren't always having to remember who this brand is, but they are starting to get a little bit of familiarity of like, oh, this looks like this property. I'm starting to have some sort of connection, so that you're getting that higher engagement. So we don't want to change stuff up all the time, but for larger initiatives, we do want to add a little bit of tweak or flair. And if you have any ideas or want to brainstorm on anything, we'd love to hear you too.
Absolutely.
The next is paid search. So paid search is a big component of the retainer. And paid search, just so everyone is on the same page, is when you go into Google or Bing or some sort of search network and say, I want to stay in a hotel in X city, hotels near me. And then it's these ads at the top that we're paying for. So we are paying to be part of this game. And it is a pretty competitive landscape. Not only are we competing against all of the different hotels in your market or that comp set, but also against all of the OTAs that are out there. So bidding can get pretty pricey, but we try to have a really strong focus on what are our hotel room bookings and how are we generating phone calls. So if people are more in the awareness stage of paid search, we want to have a presence there, but it's not our priority. We really want to be there for those people who are looking to book right away so that we can get them to our property versus a competitor. We have about, on average, 143% return of the dollars that are put in each month to the rooms and revenue that is booked online. So we want to make sure that we're continually optimizing it, that we are tweaking the campaigns and really figuring out which makes the most sense for you and your property. Should it be drive-by last-minute type of messaging? Should it be more competitive in pricing? Should it be more the room amenities? We really try to work with you on what works and what is going to resonate the most with our guests. Another element within the retainer is search engine optimization. This comes in play for a lot of reasons in that it helps us get organic rankings. So where this result, those hotels in Memphis that you were showing, is all paid, search engine optimization helps us have rankings if people are searching for hotels that aren't paid. So we're getting people to the site organically without media dollars behind them. And that really comes in with these elements. So it's relevant and fresh content. So we need to make sure that we're working with you to update content on the site, because if website has updates, Google likes that. So it's giving your site a little bit more credit and that you care about your site, you're making updates to it, and it helps with ranking. It also helps if we're getting people to spend time on the site and they're engaging with it. So Maddie will talk about this a little bit later, but native content and kind of those content pieces or articles really help tell more of that story and give Google and other search engines more context to what is this property about. The website structure is also really important. So we love that we get to work with you all on websites, and there's really a science behind the pretty website that kind of is the end result. But how the website is structured, what that main navigation looks like, how we have different markups, we're making sure that we're going into the back end. So when Google does an algorithm change or any sort of their back end changes, we're making our websites reflective of those changes so that they continue to help you guys rank organically and get people to your traffic or visitors to your site. So that is all one component that we probably don't work with you hand in hand on so much, but is really behind the scenes effort. Social media and links is another big component of organic search and SEO efforts. So the more people we can get linking to your site, the better. The more referral traffic. So social media is a great way to kind of drive people back to the site and getting a different channel flow in. All of these just help generate better results for you. So a lot of our strategies are really interwoven and connected, just an FYI, into kind of the mindset of that. The other element we work with you on in a lot of the retainer are awareness campaigns. So these are not necessary, where paid search is really that end of the funnel and it's getting people who are ready to book. awareness campaigns are really at that inspirational phase, and how can we get people excited to take a vacation and maybe make them think, you know what, I do need to get away this weekend. This looks like a great place. So that's where a lot of our awareness campaigns are focused on. And we do this, again, not mass appeal, but really strategically so that your media dollars are going as far as they can and that we're really trying to get big results. So we use this through lookalike audience, targeting our audience, and then remarketing efforts. So when we say lookalike audience, this is where we get to take all of that email subscriber data we have and that we've segmented it and we know the nuances of our email subscribers. We can actually import that into Facebook or LinkedIn or other media platforms. And what they do is they match the emails and say, okay, this audience is really similar to or has these similarities, so let's serve ads to people that look like this. So it's kind of giving Facebook and other media platforms an idea of who to target in a much more strategic manner. And then we can kind of overlay that with geography so we get very targeted and your media dollars can go very far. We also can look at targeting audience. So if you don't have a robust email list or you're wanting to go after people who you don't think are on your email list, we can get extremely targeted with media placement. So what are their interests? What are their lifestyles? Do we want to go with people that are kids? Do we want to go empty nesters? Do we want to target people who are just in the market? So we have the ability to even say people who don't live in this 90-mile region but are here, let's try to get them because they might be looking for a hotel tonight. So we can get really strategic in how we're messaging people and then change our creative or the imagery or what we're saying to them based on what these audience buckets are. The last is remarketing. This is really effective, and a lot of you are partnering with Sojourn on this, and we work really closely with them to make sure the creative's refreshed, to make sure that the placements are kind of driving through to the right part of the site. But this remarketing is when anyone has come to the site, but they didn't book. So we know these people are interested, so how can we get them back? That is when you see the banners that kind of show up and follow you along the website. So whenever you haven't bought those pair of shoes and then that shoe follows you everywhere.
It's always the shoes.
It's always the shoes. That is what remarketing is. So we really try to work with them to make sure that we're bringing people back to the site and then getting them to book. The one thing with remarketing is we like to do tests on it to see, is it more of these experience type of imagery? So if we're Baroque, is it someone jumping into a lake that's going to drive them back? Or is it more the room and the amenities? So it's really good that we're A/B testing a lot of these to see what resonates kind of Regency portfolio wide, but then also property specific as well. And Sojourn has been a great partner in this. And these are just some of the examples of how all of the different ads look. And we really try to test calls to action and again, imagery to see what we can do to resonate. The last kind of component of the retainer, and then I promise I will stop rambling at you, is reporting. So one thing about ClickRain is we love our numbers. We love data, and we love to make sure that we're showing you guys the results because we don't want to do something with you if it's not going to work and it's not going to be effective for you. And reporting is what really helps us do that. I wanted to walk through this monthly report. So most properties, all properties should be getting this. And if you aren't getting it, reach out to either of us and we can make sure that you are set up. Essentially, it's just an overview of your website data and your website traffic. And this is more of an overview right now for what it looks like for an independent hotel, since we are hooked into the book, we can integrate the booking engine. But for more of the brands, we don't always have booking engine access, so we can't actually show revenue in here. So if you are lucky enough to have the revenue, this is what you would see. This top section is really just an overview of the visitors and the users to the site and then the revenue that's generated. So you can see kind of what that baseline is or kind of what those differences are. That bottom section is really showing how people got to the site. So their source medium is how they came to the site and then how much revenue was driven and how many users actually came from that. So this is where we look to really monitor our media efforts and what's happening. This is where we can look to see, are there certain referrals that are starting to spike up, different tourism or CVB sites that we should maybe look at partnering with or trying to promote or push a little bit so that we're just kind of auditing what's happening here. The top part is visits by device and then revenue by device. So how many people are coming to our site, mobile or desktop or tablet, and then of those, how many are booking? We still have, across all properties, most bookings are done via desktop. that is starting to incrementally grow, and having more and more people do bookings through mobile, but still there's a little bit of hesitation to actually book on a mobile device. So as that trend continues, we'll kind of monitor and shift media dollars, since we do want to make sure that if we are having a strong media campaign and it's saying book, that we're not putting all of that on mobile placement, since we know that people aren't going to book all the time on mobile. So making sure we have that balance. And this last section is revenue by city. And this is where we definitely want you guys to be looking and reaching out to us. So this really plays a massive role in where we're recommending to target for media placement, where we want to have both our awareness campaigns and our paid search campaigns. This helps us put a little bit of parameters around who we're reaching. And this plays a big role. So if you look at this and 1 month you're like, this is off, this must have been a fluke, please let us know. If there's cities on here that you think should probably be included, let us know. We really want to find that right mix for you guys. The other reports you'll probably see from us are email. So this top one is just how many open rates and unsubscribes we've had, a Facebook campaign on what the different results were, and then if we do any specific paid placement campaign reporting for you. So just know that we're going in and looking at all of the reports every month and kind of looking into analytics, and making sure all of our API integrations are set up and that we're talking with our booking engines correctly, and we're really implementing the best practices across the board for you guys, so that all the media, all the reporting, all kind of your digital footprint is as strong as it can be. The other thing that we didn't completely hit on in here, or have a specific slide for, but was in that kind of quarterly overview, is we have been going in each month and doing content audits. So going in through different website or the different properties websites and looking what part of the content can we update and what can we make fresh to be a little bit more usable for our audience. So we've been working with properties on a one-on-one basis there. We also do a local listing. So we take a handful of properties each quarter and we go in and make sure all of the information you have on your Google My Business. So when you search Google for a property, what is the address, what is the name, what is the phone number, is that all accurate? What is it on Facebook, what is it on Bing, what is it on Yelp? Just going across the board to make sure that all of that is consistent, because that plays a big role in search engine rankings as well. And then we go in and are working with you on email segmentation. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things that are happening as well, that we just want to make sure that you guys are all holding us accountable and we're just making everything move forward.
Definitely. Okay, so that is the retainer. And now we want to talk about projects. So we love the fact that we get to work with you guys on a bunch of different levels. We definitely try to fit as much in the retainer as we possibly can to give you guys the best value and just to make sure that we're really serving you in the best way. But there are definitely some situations where something is going to take a substantial amount of hours, a substantial amount of time, or additional team members, and that constitutes more of a project. So projects that you will probably work with us on the most often are going to be websites. We've worked with on a lot of Regency sites, and we continue to use best web practices to make sure that we're not only delivering a really pretty site, but we're delivering a site that functions well and does all those things that Kate was talking about to make sure that we've got really great SEO and we're in a really good place to use that paid placement. There definitely are things that we can do to extend the life of a website. We understand that it's a big investment, and so we want that investment to go as far as it can. But typically about every 2 to 3 years or so, we do see the need for a new website, and that's because we're not seeing as much revenue there, or we're not seeing as much traffic to the site because the website is a little bit older. Kate mentioned content audits, and that's definitely something that we can do to try and extend the life of your website, and we do that throughout every quarter with different properties, especially those with a little bit older sites. We can do those things, but just kind of keep in mind about every 2 to 3 years we look at new websites for you. Video is a really fun project, in my opinion, that we can do. Last year, we worked with the Deadwood Lodge on some videos for the website. One was just a general awareness video, and then we found that of those who watched that video, they actually had a 45% higher online booking value. So they were more likely to book bigger, higher value rooms for the time that they were there, or stay a little bit longer because they watched that video that showcased all of the Deadwood amenities. So we really love video. It allows people to kind of see a property before they even visit it, and really get a good look at what their next vacation spot could look like. So they can just kind of picture themselves there a little bit more, and we find that video is just a really good asset to have in the travel industry and in hospitality.
And it's not even just website where we see phenomenal results, but it's great for media efforts. So Facebook videos or pre-roll or banners that have video, anything that we can do to show a little animation just goes a long way in kind of showcasing that property experience.
Absolutely. This is a video that we did last year for Baroque. We actually did this for all of the Great Ohio Lodges. For this one, we primarily use drone footage, which is a really cool tool that we have on our tool belt. So it can definitely show off the property in a little bit of a different way. And like Kate said, these videos tend to have a lot of legs. So they're great on the website, but they're great for other efforts as well. So you can be confident that if you're investing in a video, it's going to go a long ways. In the same realm, we love 360 video, and typically this is geared more toward planners than it is toward leisure, so more meetings and groups. But we love 360 video because it really gives the opportunity for planners, meeting planners, to see the area that they're booking before they book it. So these are interactive videos. You can see we can like click around on the screen and just kind of move it around and see what the whole area looks like. So this is great not only to showcase your rooms, but also to showcase different parts of the property. Meeting rooms, you could set up an entire event space and then record a 360 video so they can really picture their event there. You can do different rooms, you can do the lobby, or if you have a really great water park or restaurant that you want to show off, these are great ways to showcase those amenities. These two are really good additions to the website, but they're also really great Facebook ads and really great for other media placements. Native content. So Kate had mentioned this too. This is, you've all probably seen articles on Facebook or Pinterest that say the 5 reasons to visit the Midwest in the summer, or the 10 reasons that Sioux Falls is the best place to visit in South Dakota.
Click Rain Office being the number one.
Exactly. So those are essentially native content pieces. These are articles, but they feel a little bit less salesy, kind of more of an advertorial, and they can show off different property amenities or city amenities to really make people want to visit your location without being a super hard sell. So these are really, really great awareness pieces, just to kind of educate people a little bit on why they would want to visit you. We did one of these for Kleeman House in the Black Hills, to kind of educate on how the property could be used for a wedding. And we are doing a lot of these this year for different peak campaigns, just to educate on why this is a really good vacation spot in the summer, or different things to do in this area during the summer months. So we see really good awareness results with these.
And it has kind of a twofold win. Not only is it adding information and content to the website, which is keeping it fresh and keeping people engaged, but it's also a great awareness piece without that hard sell. And you're getting people to buy into your property or the idea of having a vacation there before they have felt like they've been sold to. So it's a great win-win kind of on both fronts.
Absolutely. So we've gone over retainer, we've gone over projects, and then as Kate had mentioned, media is just kind of those pass-through costs that come through to show all of the great things that we're doing, whether that's video or a native content piece, whatever it may be. So these are essentially the 3 different things that you'll always hear ClickRain talk about. Like I said, we fit as much in the retainer as we possibly can. We're really strategic throughout the year to make sure that we're touching every property and we're hitting on goals that we've set at the beginning of the year. And then when we have projects arise, we love the opportunity to work on those with you too.
So thank you guys so much for your time today. And then again, if you ever have any questions, we're here, and we just love being able to work with you all and all of the great projects we have.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Bye.